because they cannot get in there. That's why you have got people called the black divers, etc., because they must dive for them to get into that situation. So we are looking at that. It is addressed in our provincial oceans economy master plan. It details and how we are packaging all these solutions and try to industrialize the intervention around the oceans economy. And the funke ngokuba ndibendinilibazisa uba apha bekuthiwe size kwi-breakfast. I've never seen noba kube to 10 kungekho breakfast efakiweyo. Don't blame me. The last thing I would probably want to talk to, I think the issues of transformation are ongoing. The cannabis has spoken to MEC, Secretary Kosatu in the province. I agree with you fully, Khadebe, on the issues that we are raising. Dimbaza, Fort Jackson, Vulindlela, etc. We've been speaking about them. Yes, as government, we are making those factories ready. And again, the question is, when we are done with them, making them ready, what are we going to do? When I walk independence, kuba usebe wayezawuhamba ayothatha investors noba kuse Taiwan akukho kwamithetho elandelwayo ufike zifakwe nje investors ivula idimbazi kuthi sa edimbazi akusetyenzwe. Now we've got some tight labor laws in our country, sometimes that are not appetizing in investors that are always keen to exploit people, but government is always involved in that. EXEC is our mini network. I was just talking to DG. EXEC is our mini network that must work on this issue of social facilitation around these issues so that the labor is on board, civil society is on board. That is meant for that. We can't establish another network. We do have our own network. Let's work around that and make sure that we move forward. And we are committed in reactivating and resuscitating those factories, getting business people coming on board, supporting them. That's why we must not always look far from where we are. Our local business must come forward so that we can assist them. We have a stimulus package that was put in place that is meant to actually ignite and stimulate the economy through those who are potential investors that would want to come on board. MEC Tekana Klotu has spoken about this. We're also looking at a couple of roads, economic roads, like your Saturn's Neck, Ngobo Elliot Road. Awulali Mlandle. Xa bebuya abantu baseRhawutini, you see, Ms. Mapukat, your money is allocated in Gauteng. The reason that we are getting less as a province in the equitable share, it's simply because we are counted in Gauteng. You are counted in KZN. The more you are counted there as people of Eastern Cape, the more the money goes there. And ngelishwa xa ubuya ngoDisemba latha uyishiya pha le uyibhatalelwe eRhawutini. Xa ufika pha uGatyani ayikho latha. And that's a problem. That's why we've been saying, no, states SA khawubale ngoDisemba ngokuthi esifuna uyibona. We just want to test something. Don't do census in February now. Just try it in December. We want to see something. Because I can tell you, we can get so numbers of our people from all these other provinces. But it's an issue that we are looking at, the issue of the funding formula that the government follows. And unfortunately, that's how it is actually done. And I don't want to waste you much more time. I know the issues of economic discussions are quite interesting. We have agreed about these roundtable discussions, focusing on economic discussions and all other related topics. We'll be engaging universities because we must get solutions from them so that we stop relying on logic. We must be scientific. It's important now that you bring the research on the aspect of development when you think about your development trajectory as a province. With those few reflections, Program Director, I thank you very much. I think the point that was raised from the Midlands, the importance of looking at that issue, I think we have noted that. We'll be talking to the higher education space around such TVETs, etc. Indeed, we're not very good in that space, but we're developing TVETs. The couple of TVETs that have been given a state-of-the-art infrastructure by the higher education department. So I think we will be able to follow up on that and see how best are we rolling out that program. Indeed, you can't talk economic development without talking skills that it's supposed to be available to assist us in those different sectors, especially the niche areas that we've identified as catalyst for our economic development. Thank you very much for your interest.
Big round of applause for the Honourable Premier. Thank you very much, Honourable Premier, for that response and that way forward. Without much ado, let me go straight to the last item, which is the vote of thanks. I'm not outsourcing it. Let me apologize profusely for Lendo Yale delay in terms of in the manner in which we have arranged Lendo Babucha. And send Pele Lando Ibana Israel Salah Sekube Gazo Zila, but then I would get Bomba Sik Yoga or Lendo Yansban Sit so for Blomang. So I apologize for that mishap. I want to thank the Office of the Premier as well as the Old Mutual for partnering on this, as well as the staff that has put all this together. I also want to thank the Premier as well as the MECs for availing themselves for this strategic engagement with all the stakeholders of the province. We will be continuing with this throughout the better part of the year. We'll roll out the Post-Sopa program, which will be tracking all the commitments that the Premier has made in the State of the Province address. So that what we say in this, what the Premier said in the State of the Province address is followed up, so that ungabuzwa ubana lanto buyithethe ngonyaka kupheleyo uthini ngayo njengobana ingathi uyayithinda mhlawumbi njengoku. So we want to ensure that we avoid such things happening in the future. So we'll be rolling out that state Post-Sopa, and as part of that Post-Sopa, we'll also continue with the stakeholder engagement and sector engagements and community engagements. MECs have taken note, and HOD has taken note of all the issues that have been raised. The Office of the Premier has also taken note of all the issues that have been raised. MECs and HODs will ensure that they factor some of the elements in the plans that the MECs are going to be delivering through the policy speeches, so that we respond to these critical issues that are being raised. The DG is here with all the HODs. We'll also synthesize some of the issues that have been raised here because they require our attention as administrators. That also goes to the CEOs of the public entities that are here. Some of the things are administrative in nature, and we'll have to deal with them at that level. We have noted all those, we'll synthesize them, and ensure that they are dealt with in that fashion. So in those few words, I want to thank everybody that has attended this morning, and really, we really appreciate the constructive engagement and the suggestions that have come forward. They are likely to take the province forward, and we commit as government that we'll continue in this fashion, as the Premier has already spoken. In those few words, ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end. We'll request the table, Premier, MECs,